since you have a quorum, and the meeting is now live. So take it away, Chair.
All right, well, good evening and welcome to the December 8th Mercer Island Arts Council regular video meeting. The time is now 8:32. I'm Suzanne Scone, Chair of the Arts Council. Tonight's Arts Council meeting is using video conferencing technology provided by Zoom. The video of this meeting is being broadcast live via Zoom and will be uploaded to the city's YouTube channel later this week. City staff, liaisons to the council, and panelists are also participating in tonight's meeting remotely. Other public audience members may be listening to the meeting by telephone or online. Welcome to all and thank you for joining us tonight. So board members, please ensure that your microphones are turned on for the roll call. And staff, will you call the roll?
Okay, Amy Barnes. Anu Meha. Can you say again, Anu Meha? I didn't hear you. Oh, you know what? Something might be up with your audio, so I'll come back to you. Rachel Blum.
Present.
Great. Eric Gordon.
Present.
Elizabeth Mitchell.
Present.
Rosemary Moore. And Suzanne Scone.
Here.
And I'll go back to you, Anu Meha.
Can you give us a thumbs up and I'll say
Thumbs
that
up.
I see that
Okay.
she's here.
Perfect. Thank you. All right.
All right, tonight's agenda will not include in-person public appearances. However, individuals can speak to the Arts Council on any item provided they have registered their request to speak with the city staff by 4 p.m. today. Staff, is there anyone who signed up for appearances that wishes to address the board?
We have no appearances registered for tonight.
Okay. Our first item of regular business is to review and consider approval of the meeting minutes. So board members, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the November 10th meeting?
Before we do that, I noticed in the minutes that I was not counted under the absent people. So could we amend that?
Thank you.
Thanks. And if that is, then I will make a motion to approve.
Is there any, well, do we have a second on that motion? Do we have a second on the approval of the minutes?
I'll second it.
Great, Eric. And is there any further discussion or any more omissions or corrections to the minutes that need to be made? Any discussion? All right, staff, would you please conduct a roll call?
Okay, Anu Meha.
Thumbs up, she says.
Rachel Blum. Oh, we'll come back to Rachel. Eric Gordon.
Approve.
Elizabeth Mitchell.
Approve.
Rosemary Moore. Suzanne Scone.
Approve.
Amy Barnes. And Rachel Blum.
Rachel, or did you step away or
There
did
she is.
Sorry, I relocated
we were asking for your approval of the minutes?
the last month's minutes. Approved.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Motion passes. Great. Thank you so much. Our second item of regular business is the 2022 Arts Council election of officers. According to our bylaws, we must elect a chair and a vice chair at the December meeting to serve the following year. We have not held regular officer elections since December 2019, so staff will first provide an overview of the officer roles and election process. For this item, we welcome Ryan Daly, Recreation and Operations Manager, and Sarah Bluvis, Economic Development Coordinator.
All right, thank you. I'm just pulling up the staff report real quick, but really this is your opportunity as a Arts Council to newly elect your leadership. And so I would pass it back to you, Chair, and go from there. This is an important item for staff. It's the leadership that we work directly with as we prepare meeting agendas and work closely to set various committees and things of that nature. So with that, I will pass it back to you, Suzanne.
Okay, great. So board members, the floor is now open for nominations for chair of the Arts Council. You can self-nominate or nominate someone else from the council.
And one other process-oriented piece for this, nominations do not need a second. So can nominate whoever you want, and then we can move to the vote when the floor closes.
Well, I'm going to nominate Elizabeth because she's jumped right in, and I know I jumped in on something last week, and gosh, what a great way to get engaged in a committee. So I'm going to nominate you, my dear. Are there any other nominations? All right, well, seeing none, we will now vote on nominations for chair of the Arts Council. Staff, please conduct a roll call for each nomination. And I feel kind of uncomfortable. Elizabeth, are you comfortable with this? Would you be willing to serve in this role?
I would. And do I abstain from voting? Because that feels like I should abstain.
You don't have to. You can vote for yourself.
I feel weird doing that, but okay.
I'm glad to hear that it's something that you would be open to. I really appreciate that.
Sure.
Great.
Okay. So Rachel Blum.
So sorry, what are the, just yes, no, or?
Yeah, yes, no.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Eric Gordon.
Yes.
Elizabeth Mitchell.
Yes, I agree to do it.
Rosemary Moore. Suzanne Scone.
Yes.
Amy Barnes. And Anna Hess. I can't hear you now. I heard you before. Okay, we see your thumb.
Thank you. So congratulations. Elizabeth Mitchell is our new chairperson for the Arts Council, elected for the 2022. The floor is now open for nominations for vice chair of the Arts Council. So we're open for nominations. Again, I'd say feel free to self-nominate if you're feeling in the mood to jump in, or nominate someone else that you feel like nominating.
Suzanne, if you're willing, I'd like to nominate you. You've done a nice job so far as the chair.
Well, thank you. I would be willing to serve in that role. I would love that Amy was here, but I have missed her sorely. So are there any other nominations from the floor? Okay, we'll bring that to a vote then, Sarah.
Okay. Eric Gordon.
Yes.
Elizabeth Mitchell.
Yes.
Rosemary Moore. Suzanne Scone.
Yes.
Amy Barnes. Anna Meha. And Rachel Blum.
Yes.
All right.
Congratulations to me for being elected to the 2022 vice chair of the Arts Council, and it does delight me, and I'm happy to serve. So thank you, everybody. Now we get into.
Well, actually, Suzanne, really quickly, Ryan, do you want to say anything about kind of your next steps with our newly elected officers, what you will be doing going forward to connect with them?
Thank you, Sarah. This is Ryan. They are going to be hearing from me very frequently over the next week. And actually, I would like to have a conversation with Suzanne, Elizabeth, both of us or the three of us get together, talk about sort of the transition into January, which will kind of follow where we go with these bylaws here momentarily. But yeah, that will be the plan. So we'll be kicking it off right away and moving forward toward preparing for January.
Okay.
I'm not going to give you that holiday break yet.
Well, you let us know. We'll be happy to get together. Great. Anything else along that? Okay,
Nope.
so our final item of regular business is to vote on proposed amendments to the Arts Council bylaws. We reviewed the proposed amendments and provided feedback to the staff in November, and the staff provided updates based on our feedback in the materials included in your agenda packet or online. I had to look at it there. So we would be looking for a motion to accept to adopt the Arts Council bylaws as amended. And so do we have a motion, and then we can get a second and discuss a couple things if we want to.
Do we make the motion first before we discuss things, or should we discuss the stuff?
We're
first?
gonna make the motion first.
Okay, well then I make a motion to approve the new bylaws.
Okay, and do we have a second then?
I second the emotion.
Okay, Rachel beat you, Eric. So Rachel seconded the motion. So we have a motion and a second, and the floor is open for discussion on this topic. If you have comments or questions related to the proposed amendments, please use the raise your hand function, and the floor is open for discussion and questions of staff. And we can make amendments too if we have something we want to work on. So go ahead, if someone, Elizabeth, you sound like you had something.
No, not particularly. I was just clarifying. There was one thing that so I was just trying to pull it back up so that I could look at it. But I know that there were special councils within, or committees within the Arts Council. And when I was looking at both of the documents, I wasn't sure if we'd eliminated those completely or if they were still in the bylaws. So could that be clarified?
Yeah, they were eliminated. They're in the they're gone in the red marked up document.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to be sure I was reading those correctly. So, and could we elaborate on why that's decided? Is it because we're smaller and so we're all just working on everything, or?
I think we
I'm sorry, I'm-
discussed, yeah, I think we discussed that we wanted to do work as the need arose rather than have these committees that maybe didn't necessarily have a task for that year, or it was kind of diluting things. We didn't have enough people. Thought that we would move more to the nomination of a committee to get work done. So that was my interpretation. And Sarah or Ryan, you're welcome to weigh in.
Chair, I think you, and this is Ryan, I think you summed it up pretty well. I would just add what through this recommendation, I think what we're looking for, and maybe where the opportunity lies, is the ability to have that flexibility as a project arises or a specific need. We can appoint a committee, so it's a very fluid and fast process to be able to do, where the standing committees have been established for a number of years and maybe ran their course, and some may pop back up, some may not, and that would be at the Arts Council's discretion.
Okay, great. I just wanted clarification on that. I don't have a problem with it. Just wanted to understand what the focus was, and that sounds really good. So thank you.
And I can just add on to that, next year, kind of along the same lines of things may come back or new things may come along. We're still very much in a transitional year next year. So, we are hoping that by the time we get to July of next year, which is the annual term when we're supposed to review the bylaws annually, if there is a need to bring back a standing committee that's codified in the bylaws, we can do that. But for now, as Ryan mentioned, this is just a way to kind of provide flexibility and not behold anyone to specific committee positions and chair positions if we don't necessarily have that work right now to do. So.
Okay. Anyone else have any discussions or recommendations for changes to the bylaws? Okay, I do have something. It's Article 3, membership terms expire in May. And I was a little confused on terms beginning and ending, and especially when terms are filled mid-term. And I wondered if I don't think we have to wordsmith it or work it out right now, but I would like that clarification of that. And also I would like to see if, based on what you guys think. I think that we need in May, every May or every December, there should be, the council ought to be provided a list of everyone's status in their term. Just because staff may turn over, we forget where we came in and left. And I think that will help us with planning and not to come up that, we've just elected a chairperson, but her, for the next year, but her term ends in May, so we don't want to get in that situation where all of a sudden we have to scramble in May to cover our bases. So I don't know what you guys have any thoughts about that idea.
It used to be
Sure.
posted on the website. I don't know if it still is, but all of our term start and end dates used to always be on there. I'm not sure. Sarah, is that still the case?
It should be. To be honest, it may not be updated right now, but in the Arts Council roster, which you're supposed to receive a copy of every year, and on the website, it's supposed to be updated. But that, I think, Suzanne, you raise a good point that that's not something we've stayed super on top of over the past year and a half. So I think that going forward, as we're kind of coming back into stronger operations, we'll be able to better keep you guys in the loop about all of that.
Well, it's keep staff in the loop too, because who wants to go research that? If we just update it every year at some point in either to the council or on the website, then people can, people listening in may want to say, that's where I want to step in, or,
And Chair, if I might, this is Ryan again. What you're talking about is something we're talking about, I think, across all boards. It's been something that's been a little bit of a challenge, at least in the other two boards I've been involved with. And I know that in talking with the city clerk as well, that's a focus for her to help us with this consistency as we move forward. Some challenges of the past have been each board has been very individual, and maybe their processes and staff processes differed from others. And so we do want to create some consistency among everyone so that information is being shared and is easily accessible to both the board members as well as the city council. So I think that's an excellent point.
Okay, is there any other topics that people want to discuss? I must say, I really like the new bylaws. I think they are really good, and I think staff did a great job of pulling them together. I think they're clear, more direct. I just really like them. So unless there's any more discussion, board members, can you turn on your microphones and we'll take a vote on the new bylaws.
Okay. Let's go. Rosemary Moore. Suzanne Scone.
I approve.
Amy Barnes. Anu Meha. You gonna get a thumbs up?
Lip reading, got it.
Yeah. Rachel Blum. Eric Gordon.
Approve.
And Elizabeth Mitchell.
Proof.
All right.
All right.
We might be at a record, y'all. 20 minutes in, and we're
Oh, we're
almost
not
done
done
with
yet.
our agenda. Ryan will take us to 8:30 with his department update.
Okay, Ryan, could we have your updates, please?
Yes, Sarah spoke too soon.
Ooh.
No, actually, this will be fairly quick. Allow me 1 second to share my screen. All right, is that showing up on your end, the pergola? All right, perfect. So this will be relatively quick, but the first item I want to touch on, and this has been something the Arts Council, Elizabeth, thank you for being a liaison to the Parks and Recreation Commission as we've worked through the PROS plan. The PROS plan, we're getting close. It's been a 2-year process. We're getting close to the finish line here. The Parks and Recreation Commission actually just received a preliminary draft, and they'll be discussing that tomorrow night at the commission meeting. A final draft after that meeting will be prepared to be handed off to the city council at one of their January meetings. We expect this will probably take 2 or 3 touches with the city council to move through to an adoption in March. And we have that anticipated March, we'll call it a deadline. That coincides with many state grants that we utilize this plan to help us obtain. So it is really important that we move through this. Thank you to the Arts Council for the work that this group has put in, but also to the Parks and Recreation Commission. It's been a very extensive process, but it's going to have some really excellent outcomes as we move forward, and it gives us our future outlook for Parks and Recreation services, programs, and the parks themselves, capital projects and whatnot. The community center, we do have a temporary closure coming up. It's much shorter than normal, given the time that we've had that facility closed prior to its reopening. But from December 24th through this January 2nd, it'll be closed for some annual maintenance. That's code for it's going to smell, because we're doing a lot of deep cleaning. So just be aware of that. If you do come in that first week, there may be some, you may smell some bleach or some of the products we use to refinish our floors and things like that down in the gym and the dance room. So just a heads up. But the benefit here is we are expanding hours after the first of the year. So those are listed there. And it's really a change in how that facility is operating right now. Right now, we're looking at about 41 hours, I believe, off the top of my head, of operations per week. That changes to somewhere in the neighborhood of 96 hours of potential access. That's a huge change for the community to be able to get in, utilize it as a community center, where right now it's very specific to different programs that are being offered. So you do have that ability to just sit down and hang out in a beautiful facility. And so we really look forward to that. People get to see those amazing art walls that have been freshly painted. And we have people who are able to come in and view the gallery as well. So we're really excited to open this back up to the community, and that will begin that first week of January. We are working on call it a grand reopening, and some more information will come out of that. But think food, think things like that, and it'll be a lot of fun to reopen that. Mercerdale Playground. If you've been by Mercerdale Park, you'll notice there's, well, for a little while it was more like a swimming pool, but we had drainage issues, and the city council, as well as with a lot of support from MIPA, or from the Mercer Island Preschool Association, fundraised a significant amount of dollars. I can't remember what the actual number is, but they were very supportive in getting this project off the ground and moving forward with an inclusive playground. The new train structure is supposed to arrive Friday, is the plan. This project has been delayed significantly due to supply chain issues. There was a fire at a warehouse. You couldn't stack it up to be a worse situation, but we are getting very close to seeing this come forward, and the plan is sometime in Q1 of 2022 to have that reopening, which I can pretty much guarantee is going to include some sort of a ribbon cutting and community style event. So we look forward to that coming forward as well. Illuminate MI. This is like my favorite thing throughout the entire year. If you have had the opportunity to drive through downtown and see the lights, please do. The sculpture gallery was lit up this year, which is an expansion from last year. It looks so good, and it just activates the space. And that was something that we had done in previous years through the artist, and it's such a great area. So that you can see there being lit up, as well as the pergola there in the center. In conjunction with Illuminate MI, we had a Hanukkah at Mercerdale Park. That was an event partnership with Shabbat Mercer Island, which it's not too often we bring a fire dancer to one of our events, but they were able to pull that off. It worked out really well. It's if you think about what we keep preaching on the community partnership aspect, this is a prime example of something that led to a very successful event that quite frankly, the city staff couldn't have pulled off on our own. So being able to utilize our partners there worked out very, very well. The Holiday Merchant Walk, another partnership with the chamber. Minus the rain, if anybody was out walking around, they probably got soaked. And of course the sun came out the next day, but it was a good event downtown that got people out and about. There were buskers playing music. It was sort of a festive atmosphere that was, I think, really well received. Unfortunately, the crowds were kind of diminished, I think, due to the weather, but it was one of those opportunities that we look to continue as we move forward. Future programs that we do have coming up, the Mercer Island Preschool Association, again, partnering with us to do their holiday lights map. They sell these maps and the money raised goes to the YFS Food Bank. So that's a tremendous partnership that we have that's supporting another department here within the city. Also the Lights Up at the J, they are one of our sponsors as well. I believe a $3,000 sponsor for Illuminate MI, but they also partnered with us on their lights there at the J. And those take place on January 3rd or through January 3rd and running nightly 4 to 9 p.m. And here's a list of additional events that we have going. There is quite a few listed there. The Storybook Walk, the Carolers at the Thrift Shop, and then the MIHS choir performance that'll be taking place at Mercerdale as well. And just to call out the Myval Holiday Show again at the community center, that picture's pretty small, but it's of Chris DeLon, who's our new community center, or I should say recreation facilities supervisor, with some people who are visiting the installation there. And this has really gone well. I'm very impressed that the patronage coming through the community center to view the artwork. I think Carol and I talked a little bit about this at the last meeting. But right now we have the ability to see the specific people coming in for a specific program, where in the past it might have got diluted and you couldn't quite tell. So this is really demonstrating the value that this does bring to the community. And I think that's really important. So we'll continue to track those numbers and report out to the Arts Council in 2022 on what some of those outcomes were, because I think that's going to help inform some of our future programming and installations that we have at the community center. And this is a list of our sponsors. I just thank you to all of them. It's outstanding. Our title sponsors each contributed $3,000 each. And then our event sponsors provided various amounts. So without them, Illuminate MI couldn't happen. So very, very happy to have that financial sponsorship, but it's also this island is amazing in their willingness to step up and just support and partner. And so I think that's something that we'll really look to continue to leverage as we move into the future years. Speaking of future years, we're looking to 2022. Last night, City Council approved the 2022 mid-biannual budget adjustment. That's the funding for the Recreation Division. That's what's funding our ability to offer recreation programs and really hit the ground running, so to speak, on the 2022 work plan, which includes the arts and culture work plan. What we're doing right now, and if you see me looking off to the side, I'm constantly waiting to see the finalized signatures from the city manager so that we can go out and start hiring these staff. And I do anticipate in the next week or so to have a number of position announcements out that will help us in 2022 moving toward meeting the goals of our work plan. You know, and honestly, looking back at 2021, a sincere thank you to the Arts Council. This group put in a number of hours, went through a process that we haven't gone through before, coming out of a pandemic, trying to realize how we can be better in the future. And as Chair Scone mentioned with the bylaws, we're really making some great strides to cleaning up some things so that we can be more efficient in the future. And so sincerely, I just want to give a shout out to each of you. I know the hours you've put in, and it is greatly appreciated from the staff. Most of us, because now I'm going to move to the next bullet that says this is Sarah's last meeting with us as staff liaison to the Arts Council. So she is going to, and Elizabeth has a friend.
Another commissioner.
You know, Sarah, thank you for all of the work you've put in with the Arts Council. Frankly, getting me up to speed. None of you have any idea how much time and patience Sarah has given to me in helping to get me up to speed. So as we move forward, we're going to try to not fill Sarah's inbox. I'll be your primary contact. I do reserve the right to call Sarah whenever we need an expert opinion. So we will move forward with that. But Sarah, thank you. This is the picture there is Sarah and I, and maybe our lack of artistic ability in creating a float for the summer celebration parade a couple of years ago. So with that, I'll just remind the Arts Council that your next meeting is on January 12th, and I will be your staff liaison for that one.
And actually, Ryan, I did you wrong because I gave you the wrong date for the January meeting, because I forgot that as part of the bylaws update, we were moving to the third Wednesday of the month. So the next meeting will be January 19th.
So Sarah, does that solve our challenge in April as well?
It does.
That's okay. I knew there was.
We were both right. We were both right.
Okay. Thank you for that correction.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Back to you.
Thank you. Well, is there any other business or items to discuss before we wrap it up tonight? Elizabeth.
I just wanted to respond to Ryan's presentation and just say that that's all so amazing. We went and got our tree at the Youth and Family Services, and I saw the tree all lit up right when you drive down that street and going down, and it was fabulous. And I'm so happy to hear that we're bringing in carolers and choirs and getting the community involved, and that's just really fantastic. So little plug, my daughter is in Nutcracker Pacific Northwest Ballet. So if you're looking for some holiday spirit, I highly recommend that you go see the Nutcracker. That's what's been taking my time this month. But as we are the Arts Council, I've got to share some arts with you. Otherwise, I think that's all I have to say.
Anyone else want to share anything?
I just want to tell Sarah, thank you very much for all that you've done for us the last few years. We wouldn't still exist, I don't think, without all of your help. So very much appreciated, Sarah. Thank you. It'll be a big loss, but Ryan, you got big shoes to fill.
Yeah, and I'd like to jump on that too and say thank you to Sarah. It's been incredible working with you. I'll miss your word crafting for ideas and ordinances, and it's, you've got a clear mind and very good at directing us, but we will miss you. But I know Ryan will serve us well as also. So thank you very much for working with us.
Thank you. And I don't know if Ryan really did a good job of saying that I'm not going anywhere specifically. I'm still here, and my background is in the arts, and I see the value and understand the value of arts and culture on every facet of life and what makes a community a great place to live. So I have a feeling I will still be around. you likely just won't be getting your agenda packets from me anymore. That I've gotten Ryan to 100% commit to. So, but I'm really excited about the opportunity to work with you all in a different capacity going forward and see how we can, continue to integrate this work across the city and the community. So thank you for everything that you all have done this last year. I know it's been tough. Thank you to our new members for jumping in head first. I truly believe that we're set up for success for next year. I think that, we're going to be in a great spot, and I think it's going to be a really exciting year to see what we can accomplish together. So thank you to all of you.
Any other comments or? Okay, well, this probably is a record. So there being no other business to come before the Arts Council, the time is now 7:07 and the meeting is adjourned. However, as a reminder to members, please stay seated until the city staff has terminated the Zoom broadcast. And happy holidays, and thank you everyone for your time tonight. Really appreciate it.
Bye, everyone.